So we're getting extremely close to the release of Daredevil Born Again, and people who've seen the first 2 episodes of the show, the press, they kind of had a premiere the other night. The social media embargo for that has lifted. Not with like full spoilers or anything, but essentially the first reactions to the first 2 episodes of the show are out for the public to see. And before I straight up read what these reactions say, let's all take a collective... The original Daredevil series on Netflix is one of my favorite shows of all time, hands down. Meaning that there's just so much riding on this, not only for, the fans of the old series like myself, will it stay true to that, but also the future of Marvel television. First sign that this show is good is the fact that they're letting people talk about those first 2 episodes that they saw already. From what I've seen before, having reviews come out at least a week or 2 before the show actually drops or the movie actually drops is a sign of confidence from a studio. And the reason I said let's all take a collective deep breath is because the reviews are really good. In this video, we're just gonna read through a couple of these and see what people are saying about the first 2 episodes, because I think that's all they got to see. So before we do that, guys, we're on the road to 3,000 subs. If you're new to this channel, I would love to have you here. Also, leave a like on this video. Let's try to get this to 50 likes. I don't know if that's possible, but we can try. And the most important thing you can do is leave a comment down below, because I read every single one and I most likely will respond to you. Give me your theories, give me your thoughts, give me what you're most excited for or what you're not excited for or worried about. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm so excited for this show. I know you guys are too, but let's read some of these early reactions.
I'm Spider-Man.
I think we should start with Brandon Davis. I mean, he knows Marvel super well. He gets to talk to the actors. He's a really great reporter, and he's a wrestler too, which is pretty cool. But he says Daredevil Born Again comes out swinging. It's a true continuation of the Netflix series. Cox and D'Onofrio haven't missed a beat. Some VFX moments are a weak spot. It kicks ass, moves quickly, and takes no prisoners. Really solid first 2 episodes. Really enjoyed and want to see more. Hearing this from Brandon makes me very excited because I trust his reviews 9 out of 10 times. Him saying that this is a true continuation of the Netflix series means they're honoring everything that came before and hopefully stays along with the tone that they went with, the more mature, gritty, down-to-earth style. It can get crazy, but I think the heart of the Netflix Daredevil show is what people love the most and how it's really personal, and I think that's what he's kind of pointing at here. Things are going to relate to you, things are going to make you laugh, cry, get excited, worry, things like that. It's good to also hear that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio's chemistry is just how it was in the past. It's been a long time since the original Netflix show ended, and having these actors come back all of these years later could be a little bit difficult to kind of rekindle that chemistry, but it seems like they're doing it and they're keeping in line with what happened before. Interestingly, Brandon points out the visual effects being kind of an issue, and I'm only imagining those being the acrobatic stuff with Daredevil. The Netflix show didn't really do too much CGI. I don't know if he's talking about explosions, if he's talking about characters that are CGI. We'll have to wait and see, but the good news is they still have time to touch those things up. Lastly, with his little review here, he says it takes no prisoners. And we're going to get into a lot of things that people are saying about this because this is a sentiment that I've seen across the board. You better prepare yourself. We've discussed it before on this channel, the potential outcomes of certain characters. It's gonna be a tearjerker probably. Glad to hear Brandon liked it. Let's go ahead and move on to some other reviews. Daredevil Born Again is everything you didn't know you wanted in a Daredevil show. It's brutal, haunting, yet beautiful. Fans of the Netflix show will be very pleased. Make sure you have tissues, it's gonna get wet. Like I just said with the first review, there is going to be a tearjerker moment in the first episode or the second episode. We can speculate on what that is. Most people are assuming the death of either Karen or Foggy. In my opinion, it's probably going to be Foggy Nelson. We can make a whole other video just talking about the decision to do that. I mean, I think Charlie Cox even said in an interview recently that he is still coming around to the idea of certain choices that they made with this show. It's giving me Last of Us Part 2 vibes, and I'm not going to really spoil that because the show's coming out, and I know some of you guys are going to be watching it and haven't played the game, but I'm getting that kind of vibe. If you know, you know. Another review says, saw the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, and it pulls no punches. Again, what we just said. Some bold choices are made in the first 10 minutes that I hope this story lands, because if not, oh boy. Would love to see more street-level adult storytelling from Marvel. More of the same sentiment. This show is going to take a big swing, and all of us, including the people who have seen these first 2 episodes, hope it works. The big thing is probably the death of Karen or Foggy, most likely Foggy, and I think if we're going into that assuming something like that's going to happen, it's not going to be as shocking because people are going to be talking about it, but it's still going to be a big shift in tone with the characters in the story. What's Matt going to do with this? Also, the idea of adult storytelling in Marvel television is a really good thing, and I feel like this show is going to go back to that episodic formula where it feels like a weekly TV show. I think they're about to start filming season 2 already, and that's super exciting. I want yearly releases for Marvel Studios' TV properties. Wong Update says Daredevil Born Again is a vision of what's to come for the future of MCU television. It's as if Marvel took the substance and injected us straight back into the world of Daredevil. It easily has the most brutal action in a Marvel project to date. Look out for a magical cameo. Okay, so since Wong Updates posted this, I'm assuming there's going to be maybe a Wong cameo in this, which would be super strange, no pun intended. But let's focus on the other things that they said. Going back to what we were just talking about in terms of MCU television, this is a really good sign. A lot of people, myself included, are pretty sick of the 6-episode, 8-episode limited series. We want to get back to normal television, and this seems like it's going in that direction. I think my favorite part from this review is the fact that this show has brutal action. I guess the biggest worry for this show is that it's not going to live up to the expectations of the original series, and it's going to be very hard to do that, but amping up the action and making it better than the Netflix show with the increased budget is a really, really cool thing. I've heard so many good things about the action sequences. In fact, I've heard that they are better than the original series. This review says the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again breathe a new, stylish energy into Daredevil that feels less grounded than the Netflix run, but more akin to the moodiness of the comics, which I personally loved. Prepare for a gut punch and avoid spoilers. That spoiler seems to be a reoccurring thing in these reviews, preparing people for probably an untimely death. I don't mind if this show is a little bit less grounded than the Netflix show because this is the MCU. Things have a higher budget, crazier things can happen, and we already got that really, really street level Daredevil. But if it's keeping that same tone of the street level series and kind of amps it up a little bit and makes it more stylized, I think that's a good idea. As much as some people would like it, I don't think this show should be a copy paste of the original series. I think it needs to evolve. The review also says my biggest criticism is some of the CGI feels rushed, but overall I love the story and vibe of it all. This version of Daredevil feels much more like a superhero than he did on Netflix and is already probably my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show in recent memory. Going back to the CGI, I think they still have time to touch things up. If it's just the acrobatic stuff, I mean, people can be working on this till the day before it releases because it's not going to theaters, it's on Disney Plus. And that being the biggest criticism, which is more common nowadays with the MCU stuff, I'm fine with. Do I want it to look bad? No, not at all, but they still have time to fix it, and I have faith that they will. They need the show to be a home run, and it looks like they're almost there already. I just pray it sticks the landing with the writing and the story. This last review says Daredevil Born Again is gritty, ruthless, and unforgivingly bloody. Fans of the original series are in for a treat, echoing the first season's intensity and rage. Cox and D'Onofrio steal the show. 2 episodes in, and all I can say is the man without fear is back. So, like myself, fans of the original Netflix series, I think we've won. I haven't seen it yet. I am very excited for it because of how glowing these reviews are, but I'm going to save complete judgment, of course, for when I actually watch the 2 episodes. Both of these episodes that reviewers have seen are coming out on the premiere day, so that's really cool. It's going to be a lot to cover. We'll definitely have tons of videos on the channel about it. I know I've talked about this before, but could you imagine if they didn't do the creative overhaul that they did with this show, making the original series canon? I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. And it seems to have really paid off because people are really into this and praising it and telling people to prepare themselves. It's going to be crazy. It's apparently going to have brutal and bloody action sequences. It's going to have shock, character moments, grittiness, darkness. What more can you ask for? Overall, just feels like the Netflix series dialed up to 11. Guys, please let me know your thoughts down below. Again, I read every single one. Let's talk about this. Let's theorize on what's going to happen. If you know what's going to happen, don't leave any spoilers, please. And I will see you all very, very soon.